My mom said, "Don't air family business." I said, "Then stop creating it." That's when she realized I wasn't 12 anymore. The daughter she could guilt into silence was gone. I grew up in a house where secrets were sacred and appearances were everything. My mom was the kind of woman who'd smile at church while whispering gossip about everyone in the next pew. If anyone questioned her, she'd say, "Family comes first." But that really meant her version of family, the one that obeyed her narrative. When I was 17, she told people I ran away because I was rebellious. In reality, she'd kicked me out for calling her out on cheating on my dad. For years, she made me the villain of her story. Relatives believed her. I was the ungrateful daughter. I stayed quiet because I thought maybe silence would buy peace, but peace never came, just more lies. When my little sister turned 16, she called me crying. Mom had told her I was on drugs and unstable. That broke. I decided I wouldn't protect her anymore. I posted my truth online. Nothing dramatic, just screenshots. Old texts where she bragged about getting away with her affair, messages where she manipulated my dad into thinking he was crazy, photos of me moving out with bruises she swore were from a fall. The comments exploded. Half the family texted me, demanding I delete it. "You're humiliating us," they said. Mom called, her voice shaking with fake calm. "We don't air family business," she said again. "Then stop creating it," I told her. Silence. Then she whispered, "You don't know what you've done." "No," I said. "I finally do." That night, my sister packed a bag and came to stay with me. My dad followed a week later after seeing everything, but it didn't end there. Mom went on a mission to rebuild her image. She started posting cryptic quotes like, "Some children forget who raised them." Then she went live crying about how betrayal cuts deepest from your own blood. For a while, people pitied her. But then more stories surfaced, from cousins, neighbors, even old friends, about the way she'd lied, stolen, and manipulated for years. It was like the mask finally slipped. My aunt messaged me privately, saying, "We always knew, we just didn't want to believe it." I cried reading that because for the first time, someone saw me. Not the version Mom invented, but the real me. Meanwhile, Mom showed up at my apartment one afternoon. No warning, just pounding on the door. I opened it because part of me still hoped she'd apologize. Instead, she looked around, sneering, "This is what you left your family for? A one-bedroom apartment and a stray teenager?" I didn't even react. My sister stepped out from behind me and said, "No, Mom, we left because we're tired of pretending." Mom's face twisted like she didn't recognize either of us. "You're brainwashing her," she hissed. "You're turning her against me." I just said, "You did that yourself." She left, slamming the door so hard the frame rattled. Weeks later, my dad filed for divorce. He said he'd spent half his life trying to make her happy and realized she never wanted happiness. She wanted control. Mom tried to stop him by threatening to expose his finances, but he just laughed. "Go ahead," he told her. "You've already lost everything that matters." I kept thinking about how she used to say, "Family loyalty is everything, but loyalty without honesty is just bondage." I started therapy. My sister did too. We began rebuilding what family actually means. Truth, not fear. One night, my therapist asked if I'd forgiven her. I said, "Not yet, but I've stopped letting her define me." That was enough. Months later, Mom sent a long message. No apology, just a paragraph about how she hopes I can find peace and that maybe one day we'll talk. I left it unread. I didn't need closure from her anymore. I already found it when I told the truth. Sometimes revenge isn't shouting. It's living in peace after years of chaos and letting the truth speak louder than her lies.